families, it's Gisa, and today I have my daughter Adele joining us. And I also have Fifi with us. She decided to just get cozy on my lap, so she's going to join us for our little lesson today. We are going to be discussing the tide pool food chains today. So before we get started with a little story, I wanted to see if you could tell me what are the three things that plants and also animals, remember we're considered animals, what are the three things that we need in order to survive? Take a moment to think. We need the sun. We need water. That's really important, right? You guys are drinking enough water every day. And we need food. So all plants and animals, in order to survive, need those three things. Now, plants are interesting because whereas we need to get our food from other sources, we buy our food at the grocery store, but ultimately it comes from farms, right? Our milk comes from cows, our hamburgers come from cows, our vegetables come from the earth. So plants are a little different because they don't actually have to eat. They make their own food. They have a chemical inside of them called chlorophyll, and that, along with the sun, makes sugar, and basically it's called photosynthesis, which you'll learn about when you're a little older. So plants get their energy from the sun, and then we, animals and humans, eat plants. And so we get our energy from eating plants and also eating other animals. The food is the fuel that our bodies need. Food keeps us alive. It gives us the energy we need to grow, move, and do many things. The same is true for caterpillars and wrens and hawks, for all animals. All must find or catch the foods they need. When you draw a food chain, you are drawing a flow of energy, and the arrows show its path. There are many, many food chains, more than anyone can count. But in one way, they're all alike. All food chains begin with green plants. Green plants are the only living things that can make their own food. They are the only living things that do not need to eat something else. Green plants take energy from the sunlight, and they use it to make food out of water and air. All animals depend on green plants for food, even animals that don't eat plants. In the water, just like on land, food chains begin with green plants. Some of the plants are tiny, so you need a microscope to see them, and some are bigger. So some of these tiny plants that we're talking about are called phytoplankton, which you're going to see us use in our food chain that we're going to make today. Adele and I are going to show you a little food chain right now.
Here I have some green beads representing phytoplankton. Then the mussel comes and eats the phytoplankton. And then the sea star comes and liquefies the mussel with its stomach that it's thrown up and eats it.
So these are using a little bit bigger stuffies, but if you don't have bigger stuffies, you may have little sea creatures at home that you can use. I've got a little octopus and a sea star and a little hermit crab. So you can design little food chains with your sea creatures. And if you don't have specifically tide pool sea creatures, you can make a food chain out of animals that live in the open ocean. You might have sharks or dolphins or whales. So I can't wait to see the little food chains that you guys design at home. And then I also included in your packet for this week cutouts of different animals, tide pool animals, that you can make this activity with. All you need are some cups and to cut out the little animals and just tape them or glue them onto the cups. I decided to use different size cups, but if you have just one size cups, that will actually make the activity a little more challenging because you have to figure out what eats what without seeing the different sizes. So we start off with the phytoplankton, and remember, those are the tiniest little algae that live in the ocean, and you really can't even see them unless you have a microscope. And so we've got our mussels that eat those. And then we have our sea stars that pry open the mussels. And then we have our bird. This is a seagull that will eat the sea star. And if you ever wondered what that looks like, since the sea star has a hard exoskeleton, take a look at this. Pretty neat, huh? So bigger animals eat medium-sized animals, which eat smaller animals, which eat plants. And this food chain occurs in every habitat, in the desert habitat, in the wetlands, every habitat that we have. Have fun making your own food chains, and let's see how many different food chains you can come up with in the different habitats. Enjoy!